Okay, in this episode, we want to talk about getting back to the Define Fields dialog box and the things that we can do there. File Define Fields, same exact dialog box that we used earlier. All of our fields here are text. So we're going to add one now that is date of birth, and that should be a date. Click Create to add that. This time we're going to look at the options, and we're going to make sure that that is entered as a 4-digit year date. And we're also going to make sure that it can't be left empty. If you look at the buttons down at the bottom, you'll see that there are options to delete fields. So we could do that here. You get a warning, permanently delete the selected fields and all field data. So you only want to do this if you're sure that you want to get rid of that field, if you've duplicated something. In this case, I'm not going to do that because I have all of my records with states entered and they would all be deleted. Now when I go back to the browse mode, note that date of birth has been added right to the bottom of the basic form. For all of my records, there's now an empty space. And if I put in a series of numbers, just do a couple of examples here, we get a message that says basically I can't make sense of that as a 4-digit year. So you got to use the right format for one thing. Now it lets me go to the next record. Three, 5, 67 with slashes in between are entered this time. Again, I get a message that reminds me that it's got to be a 4-digit year. Now, if we look back at the first date, that was entered with dashes between the components, and this one was entered with slashes. We have ways that we can format them after they're entered, but they're allowed to be entered in any way that is reasonable for a date to be described, as long as we fulfill the requirement to use the 4-digit year.